everybody. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this situated real quick. Let me go on. There we go. There we go. We are live, everybody. Let's get some more people in the chat room. Sorry about running late. I was on a call, taking care of some business. So thank you for joining, everyone. I am healing up, feeling a whole lot better. You know, this coronavirus pandemic is very real. So guys, just be careful out there. You know, I'm not into the fear mongering. You know, I'm not here to scare everyone, but just be careful, you know, when you travel or handle your business or do whatever you need to do. Make sure you got your gloves on, make sure you have a mask on, and just be careful, you know. So it's very real. All right, you're looking at an example, somebody that was in and out of the hospital that's actually got admitted to the hospital for a couple of nights. Someone that was in and out of the emergency room just a couple of weeks ago. So it's very real. So guys, please be careful out there. Be smart, be safe. Don't be going out to the club. You know, even personally, I wouldn't even go to the grocery store. I mean, if you have to go, go. But again, just protect yourself. Put on your PPE equipment, as we call it. You know, your personal protection equipment. Wear your mask, wear your gloves if you have to go out in public, okay? Because I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I'm putting my weight back on though. You know, once the gyms open back up. So I've been working out at home. I have my resistance bands, so I've been using that, doing that. But once the gyms open back up, then I could really do what I need to do. So, you know, it's all coming together. You know, I'll be fine, you guys. I've you know, it's all downhill from here now. You know, I still have a little shortness of breath here and there, but nothing serious. You know, it's just with this virus, you know, I need to get a haircut. You know, I haven't been to the barber since I haven't been to the barber almost a month. So next week, so I'm out of quarantine. Technically, I'm officially out of quarantine today. Yeah, I'm technically out of quarantine today. But I'm going to stay in quarantine for a little bit longer. And then next week I'm gonna go get my hair cut. But yeah, I could probably twist my hair. Because like I said, I've been on quarantine. Yeah, I'll get big again. Don't worry. I'm not worried about it. I've been here before. Yeah, I gotta go to Cote d'Ivoire and get me some agouti, some oxtail burgers. Let's see here. Back in 2009, I got food poisoning. So people who live in LA, who live in Los Angeles, shout out to African Superstar. People who live in Los Angeles, if you're familiar, like on Hollywood Boulevard, the whatchamacallit, the Hispanic ladies, they'll have these carts and they will sell these hot dogs with bacon wrapped around them. And I promise you, when you're leaving the club at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, back when I used to go out and club, those things used to smell so good. But me, I don't eat pork, but they used to smell so delicious. So me and my frat brother, Theater Salazar, I remember one night we're leaving the club and I said, look, Salazar, I got to get one of these bacon hot dog situations. And they put the onions on them and it smells so good. He said, I'm not going to eat one. I'm straight. So I ate one. I had food poisoning. I was out for a whole week. I lost about 20 something pounds, 25, 20 pounds. So I've been here before. Like I said, once I got my my appetite back, that's the thing. Just you get your appetite back, you start eating again. You know, I'll be drinking my Ensures like a old woman. I mean, like an old person. Drinking my Ensures just to get my vitamins and my my protein, and I drink my my protein shakes and my protein bars. So I'm starting to get my weight up. It's starting to come. So I'm not worried. I'll be fine. What frat am I in? I'm a Kappa. Remember, a Kappa Alpha Psi, the greatest fraternity ever in the history of the planet. I'm not growing any locks. I'm not locks. Like I said, I'm gonna get this shaped up, and I'll be right. I will be okay. With that being said, a couple of announcements, tours. Guys, I really think we should be able to travel end of June, early July. It'll probably be similar to when Ebola broke out. So when I was in West Africa back in like 2014 and 15, I think, when Ebola had broke out, basically what they would do when you travel around West Africa, when you get to the airport, they would just check your temperature. If you aren't wearing a fever, they'll let you through. So I think it'll be something similar to that. So come July, if you wanna travel, Yee, send me an email. Come July, right? Come July, if you're traveling, what they're gonna do is they're gonna check your temperature because with COVID, the coronavirus, you'll run a fever. So what they'll do, they'll check your temperature. If you're not running a fever, they'll let you through. So I think those are the checks and measures they're going to have here pretty soon. You'll be fine. You'll be able to travel to Nairobi in September. You'll be all right. Like I said, come June, July, they should allow you to travel again. But they have to lock this thing down from now to beginning of May. So this thing won't spread like crazy. So it won't spread like crazy. So a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, guys, times are changed, especially with this coronavirus. I know a lot of people are working home remotely now. And I know for a fact, when this thing clears up, they're like, hell no, I'm not going back to the office. So right now is a great time to start a home-based business. So start a home-based business around gold, centered around gold. Again, centered around gold, which is a hedge against inflation, which appreciates, which is real money. And all you're doing is getting people to trade in their fiat currency for gold. Hit me up. Go to dynastamir.com. My first name, last name, dynastamir.com. Again, go to dynastamir.com and send me an email. You got to send me the facts on that. Again, it's just, and we're going to get into that. There's just too many conspiracy theories. There's too much misinformation going around. So again, I mean, if people are dying from the experimental coronavirus vaccine in Africa, I need to see the facts on that. Because no one's really producing anything except for hearsay. So that's the thing. And that's what we're going to address today, because no children did not die in Senegal due to experimental coronavirus vaccine testing. It's not true. It didn't happen. Okay, so like I said, we got to be careful with the information we put out there, because it's just too many. It's just everybody has a platform now. Again, since everybody has a platform now, everyone is just spitting out these conspiracy theories that just aren't true. But guys, if you're interested in starting your home-based business where you're getting people to exchange this for gold, that's the link. Sign up as an affiliate. I'll give you a call and we'll get you up and running. How do I get money when people register under my name and they don't purchase the gold? Well, dude, they got to purchase the gold. That's the thing. You're not just going to get paid and no one is acquiring gold. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah. Also, too, tours are coming up. We're still rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, we're still rolling to Nigeria in August. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. In August. We're still rolling to Nigeria in August 13th through the 19th for the Oshun Festival. Again, we are still rolling to Nigeria August 13th to the 19th for the Oshun Festival. Okay, and then in December 4th through 12th, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. Again, December 4th through 12th, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. Dynastamir Blacksit collaboration. Yes, sir. So if you're interested, go to dynastamir.com, send me a message. But we are rolling. Like I said, this will come to pass and we'll be back traveling. So I wanted to, in fact, I want to read this post that somebody put up. I wanted to address this. Let me pull this up real quick. 1 second. I want to read this post somebody put up. Let me read this. So a bioengineered virus comes from China, a country that is communist, which 85% of medical equipment of penicillin comes from, that hates black people, which also gave an African war group, Boko Haram, tanks and weapons. There's no facts behind that. There's no truth behind that. Now, I know they hate black people, but there's no truth behind them giving weapons to Boko Haram. There's no truth behind that. See, this is the type of garbage that gets just put out there every day. Akon is working with the Chinese, and governor in Senegal allowed them to start testing vaccines on their own, which died. There's no truth behind that. Yes, is Akon working with Senegal or working with the Chinese? Well, basically, Akon, who had the Lighting Africa project, the Chinese funded. He got a loan from the Chinese, right? But as far as them allowing this vaccine for them to test the coronavirus vaccine, experimental vaccine, to be tested on Senegalese, there's no truth behind that. Now, the U.S. is giving this vaccine a narrative that black people are the face. So they could come in your neighborhood and give you the virus or the vaccine. I mean, the truth is, Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, disappropriate. Black people are being heavily affected by it, by the virus. I mean, the facts are there. The numbers are there. They knew this virus was going to happen years ago, and now it's here, and you think this is a conspiracy. I mean, guys, listen. Again, it started last year, with Nipsey. I mean, these conspiracy theories have been going on for so long. At the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? All right, if you are concerned about Bill Gates and Africans being used as guinea pigs when it comes to these vaccines, we brag about how we built the pyramids. We brag about how the black man and black woman is God. We brag about how we gave birth to civilization. So with that being said, with all this black African ingenuity, how about we just come up with our own vaccines? Again, how about we just create our own vaccines? I mean, that's the only solution now. Again, we can continue to complain how we're being targeted. But again, how about we create our own vaccines? The ingenuity is there. But we put out these conspiracy theories, and it's like we drop the mic. And then it's like, okay, what's the solution to the conspiracy theory? What are you going to do? Yeah, I got tongue tied for a second. Disproportionately. Disproportionately. There we go. Disproportionately. Y'all stop. Don't laugh at me. It's one of those. I'm having a moment. That's just all I'm saying. Is just okay. You put the conspiracy theory out there. Okay, the conspiracy theory is true. What are you going to do about it? And no one has any solution for anything. Just more conspiracy theories. There was a saying that religion is an opiate to the masses. Now it's like the conspiracy theory industry like preys on the uninformed, underinformed, the uninformed. Like uninformed people for some reason who are just completely disconnected, who spend all day online, are just, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Disappropriately, you know what I'm trying to say. Leave me alone. I'm having a moment. Leave me alone. I mean, people just stay online and just spit out these conspiracy theories and their secret sources. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? And no one has a solution for nothing. Last year it was Nipsey Hussle was taken out by the U.S. government because they want to gentrify Crenshaw and Slauson. Okay, what are you going to do about it? No one has a solution for nothing. Just more conspiracy theories. It's like a lot of us get off on conspiracy theories. We can do many vaccines by using our ancestral plants. Yeah, I mean, again, we built the pyramids. We are the gods. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. But damn it, we can't come up with a vaccine. Okay, here we go. Disproportionately. There we go. Disproportionately. Thank you for breaking it down. Hooked on phonics, everybody. Thank you. 5G is killing people. Okay, so come up with a solution for faster internet. Again, we the gods. We built the pyramids. We come from the Anunnaki. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. But we want to just leverage these conspiracy theories more than actually coming up with a solution. I'm just saying. Disproportionately. There we go. Disproportionately. Black people are being affected by COVID. Y'all leave me alone. Disproportionately than other demographics of people. It's just like, I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, you want to remove 5G? Okay, that's fine. Remove 5G. What are you going to replace 5G with? No, my narrative hasn't changed. I'm just getting sick and tired of these conspiracy theories. And again, okay, say the conspiracy theories are true. What are you going to do? Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna leave it alone. We'll come up with another word. At the end of the day, what are you going to do? 5G is killing it, people. Okay, all right. So you create an alternative to 5G. Um, the French doctors are in Guinea or in Senegal doing experimental testing with vaccines, which are killing the children. There's no facts to that, but okay. What are you going to do to produce the vaccine that's safe then? The US government took out Nipsey Hussle because that piece of real estate on Crenshaw and Slauson was just too important. When the what mall is that? Guys, the mall on Crenshaw, not the Beverly Center. Guys, what's the mall on Crenshaw? Put it like this: the mall on Crenshaw, the shopping center, I think that's on Crenshaw and Stocker, is black owned. There's so much black owned real estate on Crenshaw, but for some reason, that piece of property on Crenshaw and Slauson is so important that the U.S. government had to take out Nipsey Hussle. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Baldwin Hills, thank you. Baldwin Hills Mall. No, but that's not the name of the mall. Is it called the Baldwin Hills Mall? It's just is it the Baldwin Hills Mall? Okay. I forgot the name of it. But that property is black owned. And then on top of that, behind the Baldwin Hills Mall is Debbie Allen's studio, dance studio, which is also black owned. That's not the Fox Hills Mall. Fox Hills Mall was in Culver City, but it's no longer the Fox Hills Mall. I think it's like the West Hills Mall or something like that. Yeah, the Crenshaw Mall, Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall, exactly. Black owned. That mall is black owned. Behind the mall is Debbie Allen's studio, dance studio, black owned. Then up the street from there is Doolin's soul food restaurant, black owned. Across up the street from there is a Muslim. I think it's called Dua or Dawa, Muslim owned, black owned. Black Muslims own it. They sell incense, oils, soaps, everything. Huge piece of property, black owned. Lamert Park, you have several black owned properties. Just up and down Crenshaw in general is a lot of black owned real estate. That, to be honest with you, is probably worth more than what Nipsey Hussle had. But again, we have to stop with these conspiracy theories. Guys, I'm gonna open the lineup. If you want to call in, if you want to call in, send me an email. Here we go. If you want to call in, send me an email. And we can have a open forum. Guys, also hit the like button. Again, hit that like button. Also, super chat. No, he doesn't. Not from my understanding. A lot of the barber shops on Crenshaw are black owned, along with the buildings. What I'm saying is there are a lot of black owned businesses up and down Crenshaw. There's no proof that 5G is dangerous. There's no proof at all. Again, there's no proof that 5G is dangerous. There isn't. There's no proof at all that 5G is dangerous. It's just a bunch of conspiracy theories. You guys listen to too much. What's his name? David Icke. You guys listen to too much David Icke. You guys listen to way too much David Icke. There's no proof that 5G is dangerous, okay? So if you want to call in, send me an email. You don't have to get a vaccine. But trust me, in a year from now, the technology is not where it's worth upgrading to get a 5G phone yet. You're about, I would say, a year or two out. But trust me, in about a year or two, I'm going to get me a 5G phone. And I am going to enjoy this high-speed 5G internet. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yeah, David Icke. I mean, black folks listen to David Icke and his conspiracy theories with the little green monsters. I mean, what are some other David Icke conspiracy theories? Black people listen to David Icke, Alex Jones. Then they take these conspiracy theories and run with them. Okay, well, guys, don't use the 5G. Again, don't use the 5G, you guys. If the 5G is dangerous, move to areas where there's no 5G. And that means more 5G for me. There's the solution. See, I just gave you guys a solution. If you guys are so worried about the 5G, move to areas where there's no 5G. There you go. No, David Icke, whatever his name is, David Icke and Alex Jones, the reptilians. There we go. The reptilians. The reptilians. You know, they take these reptilian was it Limu from planet Limu, or the world used to be Limu. Lumarians, is that it? Reptilians and Lumarians. You know, they take these conspiracy theories and black people just eat it up and regurgitate it online. The reptilians. Thank you, Miss Amari. Brother Hussein, I'm about to send you the link right now. Just click on the link. Yeah, the reptilians. The reptilians. You know, what's his name? Alex Jones gets on the internet. The reptilians, the reptilians, the reptilians, the grays, the grays, the grays, Illuminati, 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 bit of a group, bit of a group, bit of a group, the bit of a group, the bit of a group, the bit of a group, Illuminati, 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 the grays, the grays, the grays, reptilians, 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 and black people just eat that shit up. The reptilians, the reptilians, the reptilians. I'm Alex Jones, I'm Alex Jones. The reptilians, the reptilians, the reptilians. The grays, the grays, the grays. Bit of a group, bit of a group, bit of a group. The Illuminati, Illuminati, Illuminati. Trilateral Commission, Trilateral Commission. Crisis actors, crisis actors, crisis actors. They're all crisis actors. They're all crisis actors. Illuminati. Bohemian Grove, Bohemian Grove. It's like, okay, all right. What are you gonna do? The Greys, the Greys, the Greys. Excuse me. All right, I sent the link out. But let me disinfect my hand. I didn't make fun of the coronavirus. I knew it was real. I never made fun of it. I just said it's more serious. Basically, my thoughts on the coronavirus before I caught it myself was that there's more to it. That there's more to it than what they're telling us. Because when they shut down the NBA season, I knew something was wrong. And then again, people were dying. So yeah, I didn't take it lightly. Okay, the Illuminati's real. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to the Illuminati? That's all I'm saying. The Greys, the Greys, the Greys. Bilderberg Group, Bilderberg Group, Bilderberg Group. All right, Hussein, I sent you the link. We're waiting for you to call in. All right, Marcus Garvey, I might have sent you the link too. Yeah, I knew, I knew it's just something wasn't right. Again, when they shut down the NBA season, I knew something wasn't right. I just knew something wasn't right when they shut the NBA season down. I'm like, okay, they need to, something's not right. But like I said, at the end of the day, say it's all real. You conspiracy theorists that are online every day talking about this conspiracy theory, that conspiracy theory, this conspiracy theory, that conspiracy theory. What are you going to do about it? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, Marcus Garvey, we're waiting on you. Hussein, we're waiting on you. And it was crazy. Here we go. Now go ahead, bro. Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello? Hold on.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you, bro.
How about now? How about now? Can you hear me?
3K21, I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me check
How
something.
about now? Can you hear me now?
Hold on, that might be on
How
my
about
end. Hold on
now?
1 second. That might be on my end. Let me check something. Okay, that's on my end.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
here.
I hear you now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad. That was my end. No, go ahead.
No worries. First and foremost, how's your health? That's more important.
Oh man, I'm doing a whole lot better, brother. Whole lot better.
Okay, good. Yours truly has also had your dilemma, not as bad, but this situation, irrespective, as you had stated earlier, whether it's a hoax or not. I have a lot of questions about a lot of things that are being displayed and reported and whatnot. Irrespective, Black folk need to take care and be very careful as if someone's putting a gun to their head. Here's what I
Right.
mean. I was listening to the good brother Jeremiah Kamara. I've been listening to him for over almost 20 years. And if somebody goes to your house and they put a gun to your head and say, "Well, this might be it might be a Smith and Wesson," I'm just paraphrasing. You're not going to ask him, well, is that a shotgun? Is that a Smith and Wesson? Is that a Glock? No, you're going to act as if, hey, that could be something that can hurt you.
Right.
And not just only health, in terms of the physical attributes, in terms of this disease or quote unquote pandemic or whatever they want to call it. I'm looking at what it's done to Black folks in our day to day living, in our protection, in our social environment, and more importantly, what it's done to us economically.
Right.
Because when I see all the measures that have been happening, and on the other channel, I talk about it a lot. Recently, when their surgeon, and I say their Surgeon General, had said, Black folks, we urge you to stay at home. It was coming at the tails of a report that came out, and it was, I think it was either Milwaukee or it might have been, it wasn't Atlanta. There was another city where they're saying that.
Chicago.
Oh, can you hear me?
I said Chicago, maybe.
It might have been, yes. They sent a thing out saying that they were not letting the holders of EBT cards or WIC cards or anything of that nature do online shopping for groceries. They had to go to the store because of quote unquote suspicious activity. And then we know what that means. It means that in the middle of, even if this is a hoax or if it's true or whatnot, that's, I'm not going to go there at this point. What that means is it's saying we're going to even put you in harm's way should there the capability of a pandemic. We're going to put you in harm's way because that's the only place you're going to get food is you have to go out and get it. Whereas
Right.
Brad, Becky, and those that are quote unquote affluent, and Fing Lu and everyone else, they can online shop. It's just the nature of where we are at right now and how dependent and subjected we are to the whims of everyone else and
Right.
what their motives are. And that's what I'm really afraid of is what happens to us Black folk on our day to day, like
Well,
China, China kicking out Africa.
I'll say this: in 2009, I was on. I was on public assistance for like a month, but literally, I went to the office and I said, you know what? I am capable. Like, I don't need this. And I got off of it. So I just, and this isn't a pull yourself up by the bootstraps conversation, but at the same time, it's more of a, like you were saying, how long are we going to, how long should someone remain dependent on this system when they could just, like you said, at any minute, if you're utilizing our services, all right, we're going to change the rules.
Exactly. I really fear for us, Brother Dinas, and a lot of you young folk, because I've seen it for at least the last 5 decades in terms of, I mean, there's, especially when you brought up 2009 or 2009, I've seen a lot of it from the economic fallout of 2008. Matter of fact, I'm on the front lines of a lot of things that happened, especially what happened in 2008. I informed, sending over 200 to 300 emails a day in terms of what information we got from the Fed or anything else. And what had happened during that 2008, 2009 crisis is I had to save so many 401ks that were destroyed. And, basically I was like a walking ATM handing out whatever I could to save family, friend, and anyone else. I saw the nature of what you were talking about, and even to myself, where I was eating ramen noodles just trying to save even family members. I saw and the dependency not only on their economic system, but I saw the dependency of everything that we need for life, from food to water to protection to even communication. We need their toys and their mechanism for communication. I really fear for us in this because if this goes even further, this so-called lockdown, I'm sure it will, the outcome is more of what we're going to be subjected to, because when margins get compressed and these companies that can survive are going to say, well, we don't need to rehire these folks, we don't need to do this, we don't need to give these subsidies, we don't need, we were able to go ahead and make it through this. And that's my real fear, because I'm a student of, when I say a student, I've studied what happened in their last depression. I studied the recession of 71. I studied the Black Monday in 87. I studied the tulip bubble, the South Sea bubble, and all the things of this bench purge economy of what Europeans do. And they have a tendency, when they recover, it's almost like cutting the fat, but they permanently either marginalize or liquidate those who did not make it. It's more like a Komodo dragon type of environment. And what I really fear is the world is so protectionist and so militaristic, cynical, needy, wanting, demanding, connected, informed, and definitely racist. What's going to happen to our folks is going to be something of a magnitude I don't think a lot of will recover. And I love Black folk more than breathing, and I can't let that happen. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm just glad your health is doing good, my brother.
Let me ask you, so go into details on what do you think is going to happen?
First off and foremost, a lot of Black folks are not going to be, because we're so subjected. If you listen to that their Surgeon General will talk about how Black folks, because of the jobs and our stature in their economy and their life, we have a lot of face-to-face contact. We're not those that could sit in mass behind a glass wall, or as we say in the trading floor, the upper rooms. We're not those that are there. So therefore, we're talking everything from post office, bus drivers, cashiers, folks that, just the day-to-day machinations. And remember, the United States is a service-based economy, okay? Right. So therefore, we're subjected to, of course, in order to eat, we're going to be the ones, now, I won't say in the front lines, but pretty much more than we are in the corporate structure on that service-based economy. So what's going to happen, as to answer your question, first off, the rehiring is not going to be in mass like we think. Again, right. A lot of companies are being destroyed in this, okay, and especially those that are service-based.
Especially restaurants. Like, a lot of restaurants aren't going to reopen.
Exactly. There's so much cutting, even in government, employment and whatnot, because there's so much destruction of capital, and there's been so much destruction in the way, to the point where they're fed, for lack of a better term, their government, their Fed, and everything else are throwing the kitchen sink to try to keep this economy or their economy alive right now. They're doing unprecedented things. And so a lot of that money is going to have to go to those that they know are bringing in revenue to keep them alive. And Black folk aren't that. So they're going to be cutting down the small businesses that are, or I should say, the mid to small businesses, like you said, the restaurants and stuff, not mom and pops. But those ones that are able to, quote unquote, eke out a survival or get a bailout, they're going to have a lot of conditions on bailouts. And a lot of that is keeping their margins to make sure their margins aren't compressed. How do they do that? By hiring individuals who are not as, will I say, more liable, they show more of a liability, i.e. Black folk. Here's what I mean. It's a lot easier to hire someone from Ukraine or from Mexico or from Arab or whatnot, because their liability factor is not as much as Black folk. We know the system too much. We know what, we're the first to look at Omarosa. Okay, that'll tell you enough of what folks. So they're going to be very, very apprehensive to go ahead and do that, and they're going to be getting government subsidy to make sure that they keep their employment numbers down, per se, or I should say, to keep their margins uncompressed by hiring those that they know they could go ahead and pay a little bit to, and the liability factor is not there. So you're going to see a lot of Black folk not get back in the workforce, because other folks might look at someone and say, hey, Tyrell, I really like what you're doing, but I have to hire Gomez. I hope things good. Here's a little severance, but I'm sure you'll do well. We'll see a lot of that happening. Next thing, because of their government went so far out on things. They've already started buying junk debt. They've set up 3 facilities to start buying stocks and ETFs. This is how dangerous this economy or this situation is. Right now, because they put so much money into that they're bailing out everything from zoos, they're bailing out everything from airlines to frackers and everything. A lot of that money, that so-called stimulus, is a joke, because that's basically saying, well, here's your crumb, you better learn to go ahead and make it stretch. But for other machinations, a lot of that money is going to have to be mopped up in the future in terms of higher interest rates and everything else, more austerity, which they know will cause a further depression. Why that? Again, this is about cutting the fat. They cannot go ahead and give subsidy programs, whether it's WIC, Section 8, whatever they got, when they know that they're up against the wall in terms of trying to keep their corporate structure alive, and especially in a competitive environment, i.e. China and everyone else. That's why you see Donald Trump going in talking about, well, I want to reopen the country. And he keeps stating that because they're losing an economic battle against China and everybody else the more that they stay closed. Having that burden of trying to take care of a populace that they really don't care about, unless we consume, you could connect the dots right there. So you're going to start seeing a lot of black folk not only not be employed, not only not be able to get those the subsidies, because the unemployment thing is not going to last forever. Okay, right. They're gonna find a way to make sure black folk don't get it. That's just how it's always been. You're going to also start to see, now I said the mid structure businesses, restaurants, the auto shops and stuff, that franchises, for lack of a better term. Now the mom and pops businesses are going to get more protectionist, and this is where it's really scary. We're talking the Arab cell phone holder, the gas station, the Korean nail shop, everything else that, of course, unfortunately, that we go ahead and patronize. It's going to get even more protectionist, to where all of a sudden they're going to, because they're the only generating source of revenue for cities and counties and whatnot, because black folk don't have en masse the amount of revenue bringing in from mom and pop stores that other races have. They're gonna start getting more and more favor from law enforcement, more and more favor from banks, more and more favor from government officials, because they're saying, hey, this Korean part of town is bringing us money, and we're in the middle of a depression. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to cause panic. Excuse me. A middle of a slowdown. Whatever, anything that happens to you, Feng Lu or Nguyen or Hernandez or Apu, we're going to be on your side. Whether it's somebody taking cigarettes out, we're going to shoot him like Philando Castile or the other brother in New Orleans, or we're going to make sure that your objectives are going to be met because you're bringing us money. And so what's going to be more and more disastrous is to see that not only they're going to be protected from the banks to the policing, but they're also going to be protected in taking out any resource. You're going to see a lot more food deserts. I mean, many more food deserts after this. You're going to start seeing a lot more hospitals because they're pushed to the basically, especially after this, they're going to be pushed to the extreme, and the margins are going to be compressed beyond all measure. They're going to stop taking priority to especially black elders, obese folks with pre-existing conditions, because of the fact that they're going to have to go ahead and there's going to be a lot of money that has to pay for this, what the cost factor of what's been costing on this so-called pandemic. So, I mean, we got a lot of thinking and a lot of really, a lot of hurdles that we're going to have to start thinking that may or more than likely are going to pop up in front of us, and we're going to have to really start to have some conversation and do some things to protect ourselves in the near environment.
How do we protect ourselves?
One, first is communication, okay, and making sure that you have everybody, even if it's on social media, family, and everything else, make sure that you have lines of communication, even folks you beef with. Two, take inventory. One of the things that black folks have not done, but everybody else does, is take inventory. That's something I always say. When I say inventory, make sure that you have almost like a list of those that in an emergency, those that you clown around with, those you beef with, those. But what also in inventory is take inventory of their skills and your skills, your abilities, the things that you want, need, can't do without, and ready to kill for it. The brother down the street might be able to make socks. That means you don't have to go to Target and buy them because you're a painter and he needs to get his door painted. Take inventory of every little aspect of the things we do. This is a very Marcus Garvey type of, to get us back to where we used to be when we had no other choice but to be that way. We had to rely on each other's skills, information, communication, and the whole nine. Three, start to set up priorities. When I say start to set priorities, our priorities right now are celebrity, because 9 times out of 10, I watch all you guys' YouTubes. I mean, I watch it constantly, and I've been doing that for years just to see where our mindset as black folks are at. When I say priorities, we're going to have to set up our priorities outside of celebrity. 9 times out of 10, every black individual that posts on their social media, and I'm not talking blacks, I'm talking somewhat, because remember, Zuckerberg owns Facebook and Larry and whatever owns Google. So it's not something that black folk own. We're just, hitching a ride on somebody else's megaphone. When I say priorities, we're going to start to have to prioritize away from celebrity, away from even the social media celebrity, away from the machinations of, what's happening with LeBron? What's happening with this guy? I'm beefing with that. Why? Because it's a time waste. When I say it's a time waste, look, I did analysis on the man hours that are spent on beefs, on hangouts and whatnot, and the man hours that were wasted could actually be put to even learning a skill or a collective, brothers or sisters that are collective that could build something. Those are the things in terms of priority. You're going to have to start prioritizing not only that, but prioritizing for what would happen if everything shuts down, where you have no protection, no communication, no food, no medical care, no resource in terms of finance. Start to prioritize in terms of, okay, what would happen if? Because I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it's high probability things like that will happen even after this corona. 4, which is even more importantly, going to have to start connecting and making sure our young folks know the dire and the seriousness, the immediacy of what's going on right now. Because they were, especially the generation, I come way before the Generation Xers and all of them, but to me, they're young. When I say the immediacy, because right now many of them have children, and many of them they're in their 30s, 40s or whatnot. But I'm also talking the Generation Zs and the Millennials. I'm talking the immediacy outside of what they hear on the internet. The immediacy of, look, your best friend who's Vietnamese you went to high school with, he's going to go back to work, and he's not going to employ you as a boss. So what are you going to do? Okay, what skill will you have? A skill of, I work in the entertainment industry, and I worked around almost every celebrity that you guys talk about all the time. That is not your bread and butter. I'm going to tell you, there's so many folks trying to be a rapper. In this environment, you better know there's another skill out there that, to make sure you can fill your belly and protect yourself should somebody come in and knock your front door open. The immediacy of that is what we're going to have to start teaching these folks, instead of skateboards, tattoos, and seeing which rapper or whatever they see on Instagram. They have to know the immediacy of what the 1930s depression was like when we didn't have Facebook or TikTok.
With that being said, let me read this. Thank you, Greg, for the super chat. During the height of the Great Depression, unemployment was 25%. The projected unemployment rate during the recovery is 32%. Brothers and sisters, we are facing an economic depression scenario.
Thank you, Greg. If I could tell you the real stats, it would of what's fixing to happen, and keep in mind the so-called unemployment numbers that they had. And I did a live stream for my traders that I always teach. The numbers that they gave you from the last non-farm payrolls, that was before the lockdown. So the 700,000 jobs, that was a joke compared to what's really going on. Remember, what you saw in terms of this economic mess is before their lockdown. We haven't seen what's about to happen. So folks have to have this, again, that prioritizing, and then the immediacy of telling these young folks, I mean, your way of life is going to change. I got to be real with y'all. You're getting on the internet, having fun, talking with friends, TikToking or beefing or having hangouts or talking about celebrities. That is going to change in a drastic way, because you might have to start paying to start posting on YouTube instead of getting ad revenue. You might have to start paying more, because remember, when margins get crushed, they're going to get their money from someone. And if they have a captive audience of folks that have been doing what we've been doing forever, they know that they're going to be able to make money on those individuals, i.e. price gouging. So the immediacy. 5. Again, more important, the elders right now, we have to reconnect, especially those that have been through recession, and start to talk to them, because a lot of elders drop the ball, including yours truly, and saying, look, this is what you need to do, because I've seen it before. I've seen 1971. I've seen 1987. I saw the LTCM management and the Thailand baht crisis. I saw what happened in 2001. I saw, and I was on the front lines of 2008. You're going to have to start reconnecting and saying, look, after this happened, granddad, mama, big mama, papa, whatever, what did you have to do in order for me to go ahead and eat? Because I got internet, so you did make it through it. What had happened? What did you have to do in order for this? Because there's going to be
I'm gonna tell you what
a
they
lot
did.
of individuals. Oh,
I'm
I'm sorry.
gonna tell you what they did. They went and got government jobs, state jobs, or worked at factories. They went back into
Some of them, or I should say most. You're right. Most of them did. So therefore, as young folk, we're going to have to learn from that and say, okay, do we want to repeat, like the saying, repeating the same thing and getting different results? Or what results will we have to do? But we will have to communicate with elders one way or the other to say what happened, what did you do, what was the environment like, what did you have to do should something not be there? As long as we connect, irrespective of what the outcome, Brother Dynas, because clearly we saw the outcome. The thing is we're going to have to talk because this is going to be a lot different than a lot of people think. Um, Unfortunately, because of internet information, misinformation, and the convenience of getting anything we want and thinking that we're everything, a lot of individuals don't realize how damaging, and this is not something new, how damaging what has been building up, especially after the 30-year bond bubble, the serious nature of if and when, which I'm pretty sure their economy crumbles, and how subjected at the fallout that us, especially young folks, are going to be really, really, in harm's way. But anyways, I don't want to take up too much of your time, brother.
Brother, listen, you don't rush. Keep going. I mean, I'm not in a hurry.
Okay, okay, because I know there's a lot of young folk out there. You guys are my future, okay? And I piss a lot of folks off on my other channel, on the Marcus Garvey too, and that's my job. I want to piss you off. The thing is I have to, because when you get mad, or like what was that American such and such TV show, and the guy said, the dude that was talking, the folks were in the slave ship, and he said, let that piss you off, okay? I'm telling you, getting mad will make sure that your stomach is not empty, okay? And this is what I mean. When I say get mad, I'm not talking emotionally. I'm talking about in your activities. I'm talking about creating industry, creating things that this is going to be so many industries folks are going to try to create. Other folks call it a hustle. I don't like to use that term, but it is what it is. They're going to create industries of what people need, especially not during a crisis, but especially after. Okay, and when I say the industries people need, for instance, right now, because of this quote unquote lockdown, we've had so much convenience on everything from getting food to getting whatever, Amazon, you name it. We had the conveniences right there for us. The folks that created those industries did not create them in times that were, it's hunky dory, everything's great. They created them, especially like right after the internet boom and the internet bust. You saw these industries, these nascent industries come out. Now we call them Google. We call them Netflix. We call them, this is the mentality to start thinking right now is when everything goes bust, what do people need? And then what do people want? And then when you start to think of those things that they need and that they want, especially if you're young folk, start to create those things right now. Okay. In the meantime, while you're protecting yourself, we're in an environment where there's so much information and you can find out anything about anyone or anyone at this or anything or whatever at this time to where you could go ahead and market what you want. I'm not saying that, folks should not market their talent. I mean, if you're a hip hopper, you're whatever, hey, that's cool. But just make sure whatever you do is something people want, need, can't do without and ready to kill for. And, I just see that right now because elders, olders, or whatever they call us, we dropped the ball because we did not tell you guys that back in the early 90s. They didn't tell yours truly back in the 70s. They didn't tell yours truly's parents that back in the 40s. Again, we as you said, we wanted government jobs. We wanted to fit in. Right. Number 6, something I'm gonna tell you guys, and this is number 6 because young folks haven't experienced this yet. We have. You're gonna have to get a little mean. When I say mean, I'm not talking about going out and getting mean, like I said earlier. What I'm saying is this brotherhood of man, altruistic type of kumbaya. Multicultural, that's my buddy. He's from, this is Oscar Gomez. We hung out in elementary school. He was raised next to me, whatever. Keep in mind that Oscar Gomez, Fing Lu, and Apu their families are telling them, you guys, when you get this age, this is your competitor. I know you like Terrell and I know you like Shaniqua, but now you're at that age where you know that they're going to be your competitor for everything from breathing to eating to getting money. So, you like them back when you were a kid. Now it's time their so-called Bible says, put childish things away. Now you're at war. We need to teach these young folk, even our elders, because I had to teach my elders. We are always at war. And I'm not talking and have to go ahead and pick up guns. I'm just talking the war to go ahead and win. I always say this. For every other race except for black folk across the globe, and I know you do a lot of work in Africa, and that's what I love about what you've been doing. Every other race except for black folk, to them, multiculturalism is Hunger Games. For black folks, it's Kumbaya. And what I fear, okay, because I always say King of the Mountain is not a multicultural sport. One person's going to get to the top, and every other race is trying to get there but us. Unfortunately, in that movie Hunger Games, there was District 13 or District whatever, and when they played the cannons, you were done. Right now, I hear remixes in the background being played for black folks' district, okay? And that's what I'm really scared of. Because of our altruistic, I think that's the term. You guys correct me. I think it's because of our big tent that we let everyone into, and think that they're going to do the same for us. No, the world is more protectionist. It's more militaristic. It's more cynical, needy, demanding, wanted, connected, and everyone is out for their own collective. They're circling the wagons around themselves. I'm not saying you have to be mean, because you're going to need constituents and customers and clients that are of other races. Hopefully, if you're a business person. Right. The thing is just know that you're going to have to create, as a collective, a global African collective, circle one big wagon around yourselves. No tribalism, no foolishness of this so-called hashtag, xenophobic movements or whatever. No manospheres against those guys in the Blackistans. That's childish things. Put childish things away. Now it's time to get serious about getting serious, as Dr. Kamal Cambone said. So these young folks, especially you guys, once you have once you have your communication together, then you have your priorities together. Then once you start to go ahead and you start to your youth, you start to your elders, then you start to go ahead and you start to get a little mean and circle those wagons, get very protectionist, like Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, protectionists like the Chinese, protectionists like the Duterte of Philippines, or protectionists like Bolsonaro in Brazil. Once you start getting protectionist as an African people, then all of a sudden you're going to, not only will you take yourselves more seriously, but others will have to go ahead and bow to their knees. Or like the movie said in Scanners, when they said we're going to take those mortals to their knees, we will be able to go ahead and be of that nature to those who have been exploiting, marginalizing us, and taking us for granted and taking everything from us for what, 2,000 seasons now?
2,000 who?
I'm still here, but I mean, I'm very loquacious. So I really don't want to take too much time, my brother. I fear for what I'm seeing for us, because we're not at that point as where we were at back in the day, where we had no other people to rely on but each other.
Right.
And I want us to do that, but not because of duress. I want us to do that because if you, like Dr. John Henry Clark says, if you look in the mirror and you can't find a friend, you have no friends.
Right.
As May said, we are one, Brother Dynast.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother, you take care.
All right, you too, brother. Thank you for coming on.
You got it.
All right, peace. All right, Cromwell, I sent the link, so we're waiting on you. Cromwell, I sent the link. We are waiting on you. Everyone, again, make sure you hit that like button. Again, hit that like button, share, subscribe, go to dynastymir.com. Also, too, again, if you're interested in starting a home-based business dealing with gold, reach out to me, dynastymir.com. Again, reach out to me, dynastymir.com, and let's chop it up. So, Cromwell, we are waiting on you. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the conversation. Again, no children died in Senegal due to the experimental coronavirus vaccine. We need to stop with these conspiracy theories. So, Cromwell, we are waiting on you. Everyone, make sure you again, hit that like button. All right. Let me see how many likes we got. Hold on one second. How many likes do we have? Guys, we have 330 people watching, only 115 likes. Hit that like button, please. Again, if you're not super chatting, if you're not cash apping or anything, the least you could do is stop being selfish with these likes and hit that like button. So please hit the like button. Thank you. I mean, when you come into the chat, hit the like button. So we have 328 people watching, only 123 likes. Again, hit that like button. Thank you. All right, I'm just waiting on the next caller. Obsidian. Okay, sending a link. All right, Obsidian, I just sent the link, so we're waiting on you. You know, long-term effects on the vaccine. I don't know. Is there even a vaccine yet? I don't even think there's a vaccine yet, so we don't. We don't know. We won't know for a while. So, again, guys, just make sure you stay safe out there. That's the thing. Stay safe. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not here to say don't go outside and get some fresh air. But again, make sure you guys stay safe when you guys go out. So, because I wouldn't wish this on anybody. Like I said, I'm recovering. I'm getting better every day. I feel a whole lot better now than I did this time last week when I was in and out of the hospital, and even the week before last. Well, the week before last is when I was in and out of the hospital. So, like I said, I felt a whole lot better. Whole lot better. Actually, I go to the doctor on Thursday for a follow-up appointment. So we'll see how that goes. The children didn't die. Okay, it didn't happen. All right, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm just saying it didn't. Okay, guys, I sent the link out. We're waiting on you guys. Cromwell, and Obsidian. We're waiting on you guys. Thank you. Like I said, I feel a whole lot better. Somebody said, I guarantee that gold will be at least 8,000 per ounce within 6 months. Well, again, that's why if you want to start a home-based business dealing with gold, hit me up. Because again, I know there are a lot of people who are working remotely from home now. And trust me, they're not going to want to go back to work. I know you guys aren't going to want to go back to a brick and mortar. So you need to start your start some type of home-based business that you can work from home. All right, start that now. Because I know a lot of you guys are comfortable. Shout out to Gregory Wyatt for the super chat. The forecast for a vaccine is 18 to 36 months. Let Italy, Spain, China, or the USA be guinea pigs during the clinic testing phase. I agree. I agree. All right, we'll wait another 2 minutes or so for these people to call in. If they don't call in, we'll go ahead and check out. Yeah, I'm getting my weight back. I've been eating good. Janet, send me an email. Send me an email. Go to dynastyamir.com and send me an email. Wody Ma is not the only person talking about what's going on with Africans in China. So, you know. All right, we'll wait another 2 minutes and then we'll check out. But yeah, I miss Africa. I was supposed to be in Nigeria last month. Supposed to be going to Nigeria next month. But we will definitely be there in May. So if you guys want to roll to Nigeria with us, I'm sorry, we'll definitely be there in August. So if you guys want to roll to Nigeria with us, August 13th to the 19th for the Oshun Festival, hit me up. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com, send me a message, and I will get you the details. Again, send me a message and I will get you the details. Also, Janet, just send me a message. Yeah, I mean, plenty of people have been talking about the mistreatment of Africans in China. So let's see here. I'm working from home now. Do not know when we will be able to go back to the office. I'm also doing the distance learning from home. Not fun trying to juggle both. Dr. Sebi's immune boosting formula is my friend. Yeah, guys, keep that immune system boosted. Chief Drano, you want to call in? All right, guys, we'll go ahead and log off. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Again, go to dynastymir.com. Again, go to dynastymir.com. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate the support. Brother Wyatt, thank you so much for the support. Everybody, thank you so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it, especially through this adversity I was going through with this virus. But guys, I'm healing up. I will be 100% soon. Things will be okay. All is well. So again, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Oh, here comes Cromwell. Hey, Cromwell, took you long enough. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I was saying, took you long enough. Hello? Okay. All right, yeah, guys. I mean, guys, when you call in, have it together. I mean, come on, guys, have it together. Let's try them one more time. Cromwell,
Oh, hi.
can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Let me just turn it up a bit. Hold on. It's a bit confusing here. Let's just turn it up slightly. Let's see. These devices, they have their own way of doing things. Okay, go ahead.
No, well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I've been listening to the discussion, and with all the recent events and how it happened, the infection that you had and everything, I I just fear for Africa and the Black community right now, and because somehow everything always seems to end up with us. And this week there has been a kind of, the US is talking about Black people, UK is talking about Black people, China is talking about Black people, and somehow they want to make this about Black people again. And so one of my main reasons for calling is about solutions, because all we keep hearing about, they're talking about this happening and that happening. What can we do here? What can we do there? About what happened in China recently, I saw the Nigerian ambassador, or somebody from the embassy, confronted the Chinese officials.
Right.
And that was the first time I've ever seen that.
Right.
So So there is a bit of a change going on the ground. And but in terms of actual being able to defend ourselves from these things, one of the things I'm looking at is this vaccine issue. Do they have any scientific organization that is dedicated to Black people in the US?
I mean, well, you got to understand there are Black scientific organizations. There are very highly educated Black people all over this planet. So my thing is, why are we relying? Or we complain about Bill Gates and his vaccines. Well, we just create our own.
Exactly. And I think the thing is, maybe we just have a scientific organization, but they are like a talking shop. But they need to start pulling their weight now, because maybe it is the funding or something, but they need to start helping protect our community now, because after you hear what the French people were saying the other day and historical stuff that has happened to Africans, I'm surprised this hasn't been put in place yet.
Right.
So if they can have a way of funding them so that they can be able to monitor some of all these activities. If they want to vaccinate our people, they have to go and check these things. We are not guinea pigs. We can't be used as guinea pigs where whenever anybody brings an injection, they say, okay, bring the next Black guy, let them come, let's go and inject him and see how he survives this. And it becomes like we are some kind of a pin cushion where anybody can just stick a pin in and they test whatever they want to test, and nobody checks them at all. Nobody checks these things, at least not that we know of anyway. So that needs to change. It needs to change in the US. It needs to change in Africa. And I think Africans need to start marshalling their scientific and engineering and expertise and forming organizations that can help protect us. Because every time we hear people talking about it, it's almost as if we are not present in the world and we don't have all this expertise all over the place. I've not seen any other community feel so vulnerable. I've never seen any other community this vulnerable where we don't have any way of pushing back. It's one thing to have, social influence and people copy you and, you appear cool and all the rest of it. But when stuff hits the fan, what have we got to show for it? What have we got to show? What can we do to defend ourselves?
Right. Obsidian.
Have you got any ideas?
I think I do. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Cromwell, hi, and Dynast. Cromwell, I can tell you're from Niger, like from your accent.
Yeah.
Are you based in the UK or the US?
Yeah, I'm based in the UK, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so my contribution is that along with what everybody has been saying, obviously we should just stop complaining. We complain about everything. And we need to start looking for solutions and discussing those solutions. I think one of the things that we lack is collaboration. We're actually very smart. I've worked in the US for a very long time, and I also went to college here, and I did exceedingly well compared to everybody in my class. And where I work, I do extremely well. But I think, and a lot of other Blacks are just as good where I work, and I've always worked with Fortune 500 companies. I eventually ventured on to start my own company. I have my own cybersecurity advisory company right now. I've had it for 5 years, and I've been doing all of this in the States very successfully. So I think if we can collaborate better, so collaboration within the diaspora, so the African Americans, the Africans in the diaspora, we need to collaborate in science, in business, and socially. And what I mean by socially means, I hear people complain all the time. Black men do this, Black women do this, they marry this, they marry that. Okay, fine. If we have issues within our communities, then why don't you go outside to Africa and find partnership there? Because maybe you can get along better because they have different they have a different environment, different experiences. So if you feel that your partner in the US might be too harsh on you, go to Africa, you find somebody who can actually be compatible with you.
this is the problem. This is the issue.
Mhm.
Black people, the majority of black people in America, they hate America, but they love America. But they really love America. So the solution, as far as going out and seeking partnerships in Africa, that means, okay, well, I have to actually leave America to do that, and they don't want to do that because, again, they hate America. I mean, they hate America. They hate the conspiracy theories, but at the same time, they love America and they love the conspiracy theories. That's what you're dealing with.
Mm.
Mm.
So
Um,
I think then in that situation, I know, and that's true what you said. I think that's where education and brainwashing has to come in. We need to start brainwashing ourselves from childhood. Our kids, when we have families, you have to start to brainwash them that they're the best, that this is, about Africa. Obviously, it's too late now for those that are older, but we
Yeah.
really, because that's what other races do. They brainwash even if their child is the worst child in class or anywhere they are, they brainwash
yeah.
them to feel that. And this is what my parents did in Nigeria. My father and my mom always brainwashed me that all of the kids in our home, that you're just brilliant. Like you're like, I just went with that mentality. And when I came to the US, it helped me. So maybe we need to start brainwashing our children to
Mm.
think better of themselves, and then they
Yeah.
see, when they see somebody that looks like them, they see that that person reflects value back to them instead of seeing each other as a problem. I didn't
Yeah.
grow up with a mentality where I see a black guy and I look at him as a problem. I see value in him when I see him because I see value in my parents, in my community. The way that's just how I was raised. And I think it really helps. It helped my brothers, it helped my sister, and we're doing extremely fine. So
Yeah.
that's what on one hand. I don't know, Cromwell, do you want to add anything? And then I'll go on to the other
Um,
two ideas.
okay. About the values we have and how we perceive ourselves. I think by and large, from my point of view anyway, from the where I come from in Nigeria, I just feel like if anything, we have too much confidence. And yeah, I will tell you one story, one anecdotal stuff very quickly. I was on my way to Lagos, as somebody that is just from a different part of the country, and I was on the bus, and this lady from our village speaking our language didn't know I was hearing what she was saying. She hasn't been to Lagos before. She was talking about how she just arrived in Lagos the first time, and guess what she was doing? She was abusing the conductor on the bus. That's the environment didn't phase her at all. She didn't feel like she was overwhelmed. So, if anything, I was just laughing in the background. I was like, if anything, these people are overconfident without. I'm not sure where they got it from, why is it justified. And so, I think our people, and Nigerians are overachievers too, and that is fine. But somehow we have not been able to harness it to enable us to actually affect the way we are perceived enough. It's beginning to change because what I saw yesterday with the Nigerian embassy official, really, really having a go at Chinese officials and stuff like that. I think that's the kind of image we want to be seeing. And that is just a tiny, tiny step. The real step comes from actually from making Africa formidable, making every black community formidable. We have to be able to protect ourselves. We can't just remain this vulnerable every time. And what is making me really nervous is because from the year 2000 or so when intellectually I started becoming clearer in my thoughts, I actually felt we had about 20-30 years window, that's the African people themselves, before we will have another window of within 100 years again, before we even have any other window of changing things. And things have started changing. This year, Africa was supposed to start this free trade stuff and everything. People would be able to travel everywhere. Suddenly, we get this nonsense. I became nervous. Then the next thing, this week, they have been talking about black people. Suddenly, something that started from China, killing so many people dying in Europe, and now it's about black people again. And last year, I've heard of there's a British defense minister that said they wanted to invade Africa. The signs are not good. And this official that said they wanted to invade Africa When he said it, I think it was Dr. Mubi covered this,
But
and I
wasn't
just
he
researched it a little bit, and I found out that he has already sent soldiers to Africa.
Cromwell? Wasn't he let go, or didn't they kick him out of Parliament?
Oh yeah, he was let go, and because he was doing some stuff in the Defense Department, and somebody went and revealed that as a way of getting rid of him. Even if they got rid of him, there was a web page on the government website that showed that he had already sent the soldiers to Africa. He was thanking them, and on that same day, one of those soldiers were killed. They said he was killed by an elephant. I'm not sure whether that is true, because what is the coincidence? On the day that information was revealed, a soldier was killed. Sorry, I cannot hear you.
No, we hear you. We hear you.
Oh yeah. So that soldier was killed on that day, and these type of things make me nervous, because these people believe, they also understand Africa is on the move. The question is, will they let it get there, or will they not? They will do something to stop it. And if we don't play smart, we will not make it at all. Because one thing I will take from the Chinese method, because the Chinese, they didn't have to go to war, engage in conflicts with the US or quarreling with them all over the place to achieve their own self-determination. So I'm thinking, for everybody listening to this, if you have not read The Art of War, look for that book and read it. That is a start. You need to start understanding how conflicts work. And conflict is not always about fighting, shouting, making noise everywhere.
Right.
You have to know how to think strategically. We need to start equipping ourselves, because we are at war. And the mistake we make is that we are waiting for invitation.
Right.
We really need to start thinking clearly. There is no missing of words here. It's a life and death situation. We have to start thinking strategically. Anybody that is listening to this, start reading first with The Art of War. Start understanding how conflicts work, and start thinking about how you can actually effect real change based on technology, based on diplomatic skills, based on finance, based on any tool you have. Because without these things, our children may not get the opportunity that we have today.
Okay.
We have the ability today to change our destiny, and we shouldn't take it lightly. It's a very, very important time. And for me, because I saw it coming from the year 2000.
Cromwell.
I saw the dynamics between the two powers.
Cromwell. So what should we be doing now?
Like I said, first things first, real stuff. We have to start thinking real stuff. The organizations in America that are scientifically based, they need to start empowering them to actually start measuring things. If they want to inject our people, check it. And there has to be structures that organization has to give the go ahead before that the Black community accepts any form of injection. The same thing should filter this into Africa. We need to start defending ourselves from biological interference, and then in terms of its strategic defense, we also need to start cooperating with our brothers in Africa, because it's only in Africa you can actually defend yourself. You can't defend yourself in the US. You see, if you look at Israel today, the reason why the Israelis are so powerful, it's not only because they are rich in the US and they have history with the West for such a long time. It's not only because of that. It's also because they have Israel.
Hey, Cromwell, let's get back on the.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of like all over the place now.
Okay.
Obsidian, go ahead.
Yeah, let me add some more points, Cromwell. So I was talking about collaboration. We've talked about social. So I think what Cromwell was alluding to is collaboration in science and technology. So right,
Yes.
and you're right. Africa is basically the center. If Africa is not strong, I mean, we're just living individuals in the United States with no base.
Yeah.
And that's really what our problem is right now. The moment at least one country in Africa develops a superpower capability like China, then we can now start to talk business with the rest of the world, shoulder to shoulder. Without that, then there's nothing. And I think that's why, and that's what will make people afraid. You know, like the Nigerian guy that stood before, that was able to withstand the Chinese intimidation. He
Right.
was
Yeah.
the reason why he was even able to have that confidence is because of Nigeria's business relationship with China, which is not strong
Yeah.
enough. But we would never have been able to do that, say, 10 to 20 years ago,
Yes.
right? And just like China is doing, I think we can borrow a few ideas from how they developed. We
Yeah.
have examples like Singapore and
Mm.
Malaysia to look at,
Right.
Yeah.
and a lot of that is just collaboration. There are a lot of, and people like to say black people who have issues with business. Actually, no, if you go to Nigeria, there are a lot of examples there. Go
Yeah.
to I think there's a place in the east in Nigeria, I can't remember right now, where there's a lot of activity. It's actually in there. I'm not from
Yeah.
eastern Nigeria, but I know Cromwell is from his voice. And
Seriously.
I know there's a lot of industrial activity in Newi,
Yes.
and there's a lot of training that goes on there. So there's actually a lot of production of spare parts, like from the
Yeah.
ground up for cars, and a lot of those
Yes.
spare parts are exported out of Nigeria to Asian countries. But a lot of people don't know this. There's a lot of manufacturing of just uh, um,
Yeah.
items for mechanical parts and machinery and things like that there. So we
Yeah.
can if we start to build that up more across the continent, things like
Yeah.
that, those types of innovations, we can
Yeah.
actually start to build our economy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by by collaboration with the diaspora, so that we can strengthen our voice globally. We need that collaboration with African Americans, right?
Yeah.
And the way we can do that is to start to invite them to do business. And you in Africa, in America as well, you need to start looking for opportunities for collaboration in Nigeria. So I'll give you an example. Today, I'm very very busy on LinkedIn all the time. So this morning I was on LinkedIn and I saw a company called I don't know, it's called Wemi Industries. They've been in business in Nigeria for over 30 years, and they had made a post on LinkedIn looking talking about manufacturing,
Mm.
expanding their manufacturing line into mask and
Yeah.
other production needed for
Yeah.
this COVID virus crisis. So I
Yeah.
quickly reached out to them and said, look, I know a few companies here in America that might want to collaborate with you. Let me know when your
Yeah.
productions are started and you're ready to expand. We're looking for opportunities for sole distributorship across America. So start
Yeah.
looking for opportunities like that so that you're not so dependent, or
Yeah.
rather, we're not so dependent as a global
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
on everybody else. So, I mean, that's my contribution. And there are other ways of collaboration. There's education. Africa, we need a lot of education and exposure on the things that
Yeah.
are going on around the world. Nigeria has 200 million people. Probably, I don't know, 60% of them are living in abject poverty with no access to real exposure and education, or
Yeah.
just knowing what's going on around the globe to black
Yeah.
people. They need
Yeah.
to know what's going on so that they can start to think more
Mm.
Africa first mentality, because
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my contribution for now. So you can
Yeah.
take that, and we can discuss about that further.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Hold
And
on. Go ahead.
okay.
Hi, Dennis. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. You know, I just wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody. Say hi to my fellow African people. Um, I want to say, I heard about what's happening with Africans in China. Warren Maya posted video footages about like what's happening in China, how a lot of Africans are being kicked out of their homes and being killed, and how they're forced to like sleep under the bridges. So it's just terrible. So you know um, yeah. So
Okay, cool.
you know
All right, brother. We appreciate you, Jacob.
yeah, and also I have a live stream at 1 o'clock with Fitzgerald, so anyone
Okay.
can join. So
Yeah. Once you set it up, let me know and send me the link, and I'll put it out there for you.
oh, it's already set up.
Okay, well, send me the link.
Okay, all right. Sweet.
Okay,
Send it.
brother. All right, peace. All right, go ahead. Cromwell.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with everything she said, and because the idea is, I would like to actually start seeing things being done physically. I think one of the areas that is slightly a little bit underrated is the diplomatic cover that Africa will require to actually do some of the things it needs to do without interference. And I think the US, this is the African American in the US, have a lot of power and a big role to play in that, because nothing happens if the US doesn't approve it in the world. At least most stuff doesn't happen. And if, say, Nigeria or one other African country decides to go nuclear or wants to develop some advanced technology, what tends to happen is you tend to have other countries say, okay, you are not allowed to do that. You should do this first. You are not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do that. And one of the only ways to navigate that is to have diplomatic cover. And by that, I mean, you have to have the people in the corridors of power in the US when I know we have a lot of African Americans there. It's not about Republican. It's not about Democrats. And I think that's where we really need to become smarter. You go for the people that are going to allow us to progress. And without Africa doing well, we are all in trouble. And the reason why most parts of the world are doing so well is because their base nations are strong. It's like a child of a rich parent. If you see a child of a rich parent, you don't see the child, you see their parent too. You see the power behind their parents. And that is what Africa is. Africa is the motherland of all Black people. If Africa is not strong, no matter, clearly, the evidence shows it. We are very gifted people. We are very gifted and intelligent people. Nigerians are some of the most educated people in the world. I think if they are not the most educated in the world, at least in the US. But yet, what have we got to show for it? Because Africa is weak. For that to change, the US and the Black people in the US have a big role to play. I'm in the UK. I'll do my best to do what I need to do here. I'm into tech. I do my best. I work with Nigeria. I set up a company in Nigeria myself, and I'm doing a lot on the ground there, because there has to be some form of collaboration, like the lady just mentioned. So the diplomatic cover is quite important. I think that's the one I just want to highlight. And these things are concrete. And one of the ways to do it, people need to be contacting them. Diners, you might not consider yourself, you are a chief, for crying out loud. You can call these people up and say, hey, there are things we, the youths, want to see happen. Send your listeners, your people that listen to you, send them over to those House of Congress people. Tell them these things are urgent. You need to actually start fighting for us. This is not only about the US anymore. This is about all of us. You have the power, you have the platform to start drawing the attention.
Each one teach one. I put the link I put my email address in the chat room. Send me an email and I'll send you the link. All right, Cromwell, go ahead and wrap it up so I can get some more people on here.
Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that we have to actually start making concrete moves. We don't have the time to only be talking about the problems. And like I said, diners, you have a mouthpiece here, you have a platform here, you can use it to move people in the right direction. And I'm also very happy with the conversation you've had about the coronavirus and how it's actually real, and the getting rid of some of all the conspiracy stuff. So those type of things are very, very useful. You also need to nudge them in the right direction so that they actually start making real concrete changes. I don't know how much, maybe you are doing some of that already, but if it is being done, let me know. I will join. I will assist whichever way I can.
Okay, cool. All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on, Brother Cromwell.
All right. Thank
you.
you.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Chief Durano, go ahead.
What's good, family? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Go ahead.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, happy to be on. I want to say, we're happy to have you with us, Prince. I mean, you've told us the effect full effect. I mean, firsthand of what has happened to you concerning the virus. And yeah, definitely, I don't want to get it. I see this as a hygiene problem. Despite a lot of people running around saying it's 5G, you know, we in Australia are much more closer to China than you guys are. And Australia being 25 million people, just a small population, this virus could have taken us over by storm, but we managed to take things seriously. Even though, despite some of the news you're hearing on the mainstream media about Australians going to the beach, still are not taking things seriously. A lot of people are taking things seriously. People are self-isolating, staying home, and the government is very strict. We did not downplay the virus, which was a question I left in a chat box. I mean, why did you guys downplay the virus? You saw the threat coming.
I don't know. I wish I could. I mean, you got to ask the people in charge.
Yeah, but leadership always reflects the people.
Not
Okay,
necessarily.
You people voted the president in. Well, so to speak, here in Australia, we do not, you know, hold your leadership in high regards at all. Your president is being mocked and not taken seriously all over the world. I mean, you guys had enough time, you know, to curb situation or even put checks in place, you know, to prevent this from happening to you. But now the US is the face of the coronavirus.
Right.
And liken it to somewhere like Australia, which is in close proximity to China, and we have people traveling back and forth, you know, from Australia to China daily, you know, and we don't have that kind of infection rate in Australia. So I just wanted to, you know, ask that actually, and also stress on the issue that, or the point that, you know, this is a hygiene issue. Okay, keep your distance from people, at least for this period of time until we're able to control this virus. Okay, wash your hands. Okay, I found out a lot of times people go to the toilet and don't wash their hands. Um, the virus is able to stain people's sputum, like, you know, saliva, you know, and even people's feces, urine or whatever. Okay, bodily fluids. So people go to the toilet, they don't wash their hands and come and touch people's computers in the office and stuff like that. That's how the virus spreads. Okay, other modes of transmission is people in close proximity talking, you know, in a closed room. The virus will spread. Okay, so these are the things that you need to bear in mind, and it has absolutely nothing to do with 5G. Australia, even though Australia is one of the first world countries, we do not have 5G all about, but there 5G is in the military, but then, you know, it's not an issue. Okay, we do have 5G ready modems in our homes, 5G ready phones. Okay, and it's not the issue. So I just wanted to point that out.
All right, brother. We appreciate it. Mike, go
And
ahead.
one more point. I wanted to point out that one of the brother, I think Cromwell, stated about the African free trade thing. It's set to roll out in July, the 1st of July. So it's not ready yet, but we're hoping that the virus subsides before then, and then we can go ahead with whatever Africa is planning. But, you know, it's in effect, okay, and it's bound to happen, and we must support it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it,
All
brother.
right, peace, family, peace.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Dynast, what's up, buddy?
What's up,
Hey,
brother?
y'all. I just want to touch on what this lady said earlier when she mentioned that we need to stop brainwashing ourselves. Precisely, that's exactly what we need to start doing, dude. That's exactly, she like hit the nail on the head, dude. When she mentioned that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly. Okay, if you look at white people, you look at Chinese, these people have to brainwash their people to feel the way they feel. They have to brainwash their people to think the way they think. They have to brainwash their, and they start, when I say brainwashing, you have to start with them. We have to start with our children, you know. We have to start thinking, how do we want our children to think when they grow up? And however we want them to think, do we want them to be thinking like us? Absolutely not. Do we want them to grow up and be seeing other races as superior to them? Absolutely not. Do we want them to grow up and be seeing each other as low entities and having low self-esteem like us? Absolutely not. So that's the point. We need to start brainwashing our children to see themselves as great, to picture themselves as people that are better than other people, to see themselves as people that are superior to other people. I'm not saying we have to teach them to hate anyone, but we have to brainwash our children the way we want them to become. We need to start doing that. And besides, how do we become these people that see ourselves as these low humans? How do we become people that see ourselves as people that are beneath other people? How do we see ourselves to become people that feel inferior to other races? Because we were brainwashed through what? Education system, colonialism, colonial curriculum that we learn in Africa is what teaches us that other races are better than us. That's why Africans go to places and they see other races as superior to them. And when those other races come to Africa, we treat them real red carpet for them. We treat them like kings, and we treat them special. Why? It's a mental state. It's called brainwashing. We've been brainwashed through movies, books that most of the books we read are not books that are written by us. Stories we learn all our lives are not stories that we told ourselves. So brainwashing is real. How do we become Muslims? How do we become Christians? We were brainwashed. We were brainwashed, man. So she's absolutely right. We have to start brainwashing ourselves. We need to, first of all, start looking in the mirror and accept that we're in a messed up state. We need to stop this. They're talking shit. It's a fact. We need to accept it, dude. None of us globally, black people globally, are in control of our destiny. We just dependent people. Right now they shut everything down. No black person can even, say, question anything or say, you know what, I can't change anything. It's like we are dependent people and we have to get out of this state, man. This can't continue like this globally. An entire continent, we're not in control of our destiny. The diasporas are not in control of their destiny. So when are we going to accept this fact that we as a race of people, nobody respect us? Why? Because they see us as people that are powerless. So we need to just accept the fact. And we have to look at each other and just be honest with each other and say, you know what, this cannot continue. It may not happen in our lifetime, but for the sake of our children, man, we need to start making moves right now. The previous generation, they didn't do nothing. Right. That's why we're here. But we cannot be the same. We cannot do the same thing. We cannot make the same mistakes of our elders, our ancestors. We have to make a change. We have to, for the sake of our children, we need to stop being selfish and only think of ourselves. We have to start thinking of our children. I mean, honestly, we need to start thinking of our children. The brother that came in earlier, the African American brother that came in earlier, man, the man spoke a lot of sense, man.
Right.
He mentioned it. He said, this situation, we don't know. The worst might happen. Depression might happen. The Great Depression might happen. It's going to affect the blacks a lot. And to be honest, there is no profession that's out there that you don't find black people. Just as other races, other groups have professionals. Black Americans have a lot of professionals as well. Africans, we have a lot of professionals just like everybody else. But the difference is this. All our professionals, they are working for a white man's company, a white man's corporation, If we can accept that, you know what, let's stop being selfish. All black professionals should just come together and say, you know what, if I think the reason God put me here is to come save my people. Let me forget about paycheck and let all black professionals come together and say, you know what, this world we live in, it's a race-based thing, man. Everybody look out for themselves. Let's look out for our people. All black professionals come together and build companies. When I say electricians come together, technicians come together, doctors come together, lawyers come together, put their money together, and just build one big black-based owned company. In case this Great Depression comes, we can create jobs and employ our people. Get contract from government and just create employment for our people, look out for ourselves, That's the point I just want to make, Dennis,
All right, cool. Obsidian, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, everybody, everything makes sense. We're all basically saying same thing. We need to collaborate. We need to find ways to work together, and so that we can move ourselves forward. We need infrastructure that supports us so that we can work together, because all the time we hear people. The other day I was at a client and there was this African guy from Sierra Leone telling me, "Oh, my boss, I don't know, complaining something about his white boss, blah blah blah." And I'm like, dude, if you own a company and your grandfather owned that company and he passes it, he's not going to pass that company over to his white partner or white supplier or white employees. He's going to pass it down to his son. And whether his son knows anything or not, whether his son is stupid or not, he's going to pass it down to his family members. So we would have to stop complaining that we're not included enough. You know, we talk about inclusion, that's the big word now that they all use. And it's like almost begging for a seat at the table. It's not natural for them. Anything that's not natural is not, it's not going to work. So my point is, instead of begging for a seat at the table all the time, we need to start figuring out ways to have, like Theodore is saying there, strategic alliances and partnerships that work for us. A Chinese person doing business in America will fight tooth and nail to find a Chinese partner to work with. Even
Right.
if it's in New York, he'll find a Chinese partner in California when there are other people around him. So we need to start having that same mentality in how we approach business, really social relationships, and just everything in general. And that's my 2 cents.
All right, cool. All right, Josiah, go ahead and close it out.
Oh, how's everybody doing? Dynast, I would like to thank you first of all for being alive.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do without you, man. We going way back. We go way back. I'm glad. When I heard what happened, I tried to reach out to you. I called Juliet and all of that, and but you were isolated. I couldn't, get a hold of you or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you're out now and you're doing your thing. And I've listened to everything that you've been doing, and I really appreciate everybody that's talked today. They all make a lot of sense. I'm glad in a way that things are coming together right now. It seems like things are coming in full circle for the so-called black people to recognize the importance of Africa. They are starting to see that nobody likes them. This is something I recognized about 20 years ago. Um, in my background, I have an engineering background. I tell you, no matter how good you are, they still think that you're second class, that you're not good enough. So my advice here to the black people is to keep working hard at it and try to start something on your own. Try to do something with your fellow black person. Do not judge or prejudge a black person that you never even had a chance to get to know. And I understand that the ones in the diaspora, they take pride in working for Google, Facebook, all of that, but they don't know what the game is, what's going on. They don't understand the strategy. The strategy is still the same strategy from 400 years ago. It's still to enslave you. Now, this is the only open window that Africa has gotten in this century. As we starting off this new century, we have an open window of about 30 years. That's what we got. And we need to use that. Everybody that reads history or know about history and dynasties understand that most of the dynasties they last about 300 to 500 years. And every 400 years, on an average, something drastic happens in the world. The African people are seeing something quite unusual. By that, I mean every 400 years, this kind of stuff happens. When you have a lot of innovation, a lot of changes happening all at one time, it is an opportunity for us to recognize that if we continue to divide ourselves, we will perish, we will lose that land, and we will be done for. The Africans in the UK or the blacks in the UK, I do not like to differentiate. Everybody's from Africa as long as you are melanated or you're a black person. The only difference is time. Time is the difference between all of us. The blacks in the Caribbean, in the UK, in the US, is time. The difference is time. That's just about it. The sooner we start working together, the better for us. Here in the US, there is no work right now, but they're going to tell us. But who owns all the businesses? You already know the answer to that question. But who is suffering the most right now? You already know. Who got the disproportionate rate for the COVID-19 scenario? You already know the answer to all of this stuff. So the poorer you become, the more devastating things will start unraveling for you. One of the major things we have to understand as black folks, very simple, that religion right there is killing us. The religion, there's a difference between spiritual, somebody being spiritual, righteous, having a righteous standard and being spiritual, than being a religious person. By that, I'm referencing organized religion. Okay, somebody will say to themselves, I'll just pray and fast and everything will be just fine. That's a lie. Nothing is gonna change. If it changes, it's just by chance. Okay? Or by providence. What you need to do is you need to use your two hands. God already given you the brain. You have two hands for a reason. These are redundancy. You have two legs. These are redundancy. It's telling you you need to use these. That's why you are a Homo sapien, the thinking person. And you use your hand for action. You make it happen with your hands. You walk the walk with your foot. Basically, what I'm saying to black folks, when you go to that university, I know you're going there to learn, to get the knowledge. Well, you have to look at it this way. The knowledge, the certificate is the license for you to work for the man. You need to reverse engineer that certificate to work for yourself. How do you do that? You start thinking outside the box. If the school say, "Oh, you have to do it this way," you think you tell yourself, "What if I do it the other way? What will be the result?" That's how the Chinese people made it. The Chinese people, they're not nice to black folks, but they love themselves. I heard a sister here say, a Chinese man want to start a business, he's going to look for a Chinese person no matter how far that Chinese person lives from him or her.
Right.
He's going to go and find them. Black people don't have that kind of love for themselves. Even black people, the black people kill their own Jesus. That's how bad it is. I want to ask you guys a question. For those of you that are Christians, I'm a Christian. I have a strong background in it. But as I grow up, I start to think and recognizing the problems in what the stories we were told. We were told such a fantastic story that we think white people are better than us, and white people, everything they do is golden. That's not true. We came to find out that blacks are way smarter, because when you are persecuted and oppressed, all you do is you try to figure out a way to do things the best possible way. And that's what we've done. That's what the sister here was telling you. She's doing very well at her job. And I believe her because I'm in the same field. I'm an engineer. When I go to work with them, they look down upon me, but my work come out looking better than them. They use me to have a good name. Now, that the same thing goes to all of us. We should not kill our own saviors. Most of you that read the Bible, the New Testament, have you ever seen in the New Testament where it says anything bad about Roman Empire? Think, people, think. I'm not going to use my mouth to say that. Use your head. Don't let nobody fool you. We are suffering so much. We have no respect. The question is why? We've lost our way. Our people, our culture. We took the oppressor's culture and it doesn't work for us. Okay? No matter what we do, we come here, we become citizens, we go to the military, we go to every land to distinguish ourselves and act like we're better than the people we left behind. Did they work? No, it did not. What I think will work for you is take what you learn here, take it back to Africa, invest there. If you have a company, establish a company there. You can go to Rwanda, you can go to Uganda, you can go to Zambia, and labor is cheaper there. What I have done in software engineering, I went down there, I hired some folks. I have about 10 people back where I came from that work for me. I do a lot of this teleconference, video conference. I've been doing it before the COVID-19, whatever started it. That's what I'm doing. Guess what? They produce better software than the people over here. Do you know why? Because they have to do it, not because their mom or their dad told them to do it. They need to do it to survive, so they do it well. Black people should stop killing their own Jesus. Black people stop killing people that come to help you. People that have seen the bad perpetrated on you and they decided to use their life. Because there are some of us that can see 50 years, 100 years. And they tell people that are alive today what they see. Nobody believes them. Nobody want to hear what they have to say. Nobody, no country, no nation in history can survive without technology. Now, your right eyes is your culture. Your left eyes is your political system or government or how you rule yourself. Your nose, when you close your eyes, the sharpest perception humans have or some animals do have is either their nose or their ears when they close their eyes. Your nose is your spiritual. All right? And with all these three things, with these three things, when you put them together, you put them into action, that's your mouth. That's the technology. When you speak stuff that you thought about, you want it to happen, that's the technology right there. All four of them work together. Africans have a long way to go. The only person in the African community that I see that notices the problem we have is Dr. Arikana Chihombori. That's the only person that I knew that have an idea how to solve the problem. This woman, you guys already seen what she's doing. She's attacking the problem from the root. She want to bring the diasporans, the ones that are skillful. The diasporans of all the blacks are the ones that have been challenged and tried. They have a lot of skills and they have seen many things. They have seen the games of the oppressors. They know how they operate. And they got all these skills. This woman is trying to bring them all under one umbrella so that Africa will be built. I support that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
bro,
a very
let me say
smart
something, man.
approach.
And what we'll do, we'll spend about 10 more minutes and we'll close out.
That's a very smart approach. Like I said, all these four things I mentioned are very important. Without these four things, if black people don't understand who they are by embracing their culture, the ones here are visiting, and the ones that are already there, recognizing the people over here as in collaboration and working together, not one imposing on the other. If not, the land will be taken away. That land, everybody wants it. Do you know that shiny stuff? People like to throw stones at shiny stuff. Never belittle yourself. There's nothing weak about black folks. The reason why black folks are in this position is because they are not weak. They are strong people. If given the opportunity, they can run things. But that's not the agenda we should have. The agenda we should have is to come up to par with what is happening to us, to strengthen ourselves.
Sorry, brother. Let Mike respond. Then I'll let you respond. And we're gonna close out.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, bros. You said something. You sound very smart. Everything you said is right. What we need to do, we need to come to is right. And you mentioned the ambassador, our strategy of diaspora come together, it's gonna build Africa. But I think that's one fundamental thing that needs to be done before all that jumping and gone. Because whatever she saw do anything, history and how they failed. You know what I'm saying? The black race. We will never ever succeed in anything we're trying to do if we don't first become Africans mentally, physically, and spiritually. When I say mentally, I mean psychologically, spiritually, and physically. We will fail. Every move you make, trust me, they already got plans to sabotage your shit. So all these, let's come together to beat Africa. We need to force get. That's why I said I agree with that lady when she said we need to brainwash ourselves. And when I say brainwash, we need to force brainwash ourselves back to become Africans, physically, psychologically, and spiritually, before we can even make any move to say we want to become great. Because trust me, the enemies are waiting for you. They're waiting. The Chinese, they are Chinese physically, psychologically, and spiritually. That's why they were able to get to where they are. They were able to conquer. Defeat the enemy. Wasn't able to take them down. Africans, we're only Africans physically. That's why we dominate sports and anything that has to do with physicality. Everything else, we don't fail. We don't succeed because we've been brainwashed psychologically we've been brainwashed to believe everything Africa is just bad. We've been brainwashed to believe our ancestors are demons. We've been brainwashed to believe that our gods are demons. Nothing. Let me give you a little metaphysics. Nothing in this life.
Mike, we got about.
Okay. I'm done. This last point. Nothing in this life manifests physically without being completely spiritually forced. If we as long as we got our back turned on our ancestors and we're worshiping white man, we're worshiping white Jesus and Muhammad, and we believe white man is God, black man is Satan, forget it. All these other things we're talking, forget it. That's what we need to get back to. We need to go back to our roots, where we come from first, before we can even think about development. All right, Danny, sorry, man. That's all I need to say, man. All right.
No problem. Go ahead and close out, Josiah. You got 3 minutes.
All right. I love the fact that he says something about we need to go back to our roots. Basically, we need to go back to our roots. We need to trust one another. We need to start working together. When a brother comes up with an idea, don't say, "Oh, because he didn't come from a white person, therefore it's not good." You might be mistaking quite something very important just because you forgot that they're going through the same thing you're going through, and they are pushing so hard. So we should accept that and look into it, investigate the matter, and see what we can do to help the situation. For Africa to move forward, we need to have a strategy. The Chinese people have a 100-year strategy. They are in the 13th 5-year, which is 65-year strategy, and you've seen what they have done in the past 30 years. Now, we do have Google, and we do have Chinese model. We can do it in a shorter period of time if we work together. There's a lot of us that's educated around the globe, which you guys know, in the Asia, in the Europe, and all over America here. We need to come together. What the Arikana Chiwambori is doing can help bring all these professionals together. But how they're going to play it out, I don't know. But there need to be that rendezvous. That's what I'm talking about. And for everybody else that's listening to what I'm saying, think deeply into how you've been brainwashed, whether you were colonized or you were enslaved. Free yourself. Break out. Break free. And understand that nobody else cares about us but us. And the game we're playing out here, we're serving the man. It's always been that way for the past 400 years. You decide if you want to continue that way. You decide for your children who are minors at this time. Recognize Africa as a place that you need to be at. Invest in Africa. Look at the changes that are coming. We are all stuck here now. Where do we go from here? That's what I'm leaving with y'all with, to think over it. Next time we'll talk about more other important things. And I hope you guys stay safe and be healthy. Wash your hands and live a hygienic life. Thank you all.
No problem. Thank you so much, brother. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mir, search for Huru. Peace.
Peace out.
All right, man. Thanks, Dennis.
No